Well, hello. This is Chris Tenny-Brittian. It is week 5 of the ministry training program of Phillips Theological Seminary. We are looking in conflict utilization. We're talking about strategizing strategies for addressing conflict and how to utilize it or use it this week. So I want to draw attention to some of the handouts, some of the tools that we have posted this week. Just to follow up with last week, at the end of the week, there was a question about processing, and I posted something that's called the W5H process, W5H. It helps you or it tells you the process that really you need to go through to formulate those pieces that are so necessary to ward off and to then begin to clarify that which is conflictual, so that to knowing who you are, why you are, where you are, what you're going to do, and then that H is how you're going to do it. Anyways, it's posted up there. I posted, as I said, at the very end of this last week, and now it is there in this week's folder. Let's see, what else is there? The 8 R's of reconciliation. Conversation last week about forgiveness and what it means to forgive 70 times 7. And of course, with that, 70 times 7, in that ancient culture, that would mean countless times, unimaginable. Remember, they don't really have a number or a mathematical system that looks like ours. So 70 times 7 is not an easy calculation if they were able to calculate that at all. So there's that piece, but it does talk, okay, yes, we're to forgive. But there are some differences between forgiveness and reconciliation. Forgiveness is something that happens within us internally. Reconciliation, though, is what I think most of us think forgiveness is. It's where we say, hey, we're going to, this relationship is going to be the same. My spouse abuses me. I'm going to forgive them, but and so if I forgive them, I have to stay in this abusive relationship rather than saying, reconciliation takes 2 parts. And when you reconcile, it allows for even a greater relationship than there was originally, but it takes 2 people for reconciliation. Those of you that may be familiar in any way with 12-step programs, we have a step where you go and you make amends. It's where you apologize for what you have done. And a lot of people think, well, when I do that, they should forgive me. And beyond that, then everything should be okay. That everything should be okay, that's when we start talking about reconciliation. And that's something, honestly, that's rarer than you might think. So you'll see the 8 R's of reconciliation, and my guess is we'll have more conversation about that on the forums. You're also going to find a model for addressing conflict. A lot of times conflict is internal more than it is external. We're holding on to these feelings. We're holding on to these thoughts. And it's helpful to get what's here and what's eating us inside out here so that we can examine it. So our examining is still going to be subjective, but at least it will be more objective subjectiveness when it's out here. And so this model for assessing and addressing conflict is a part to help take what's in here and get it into your mind so you can get it out here. But then it's also this beautiful tool to begin to say, all right, who's part of this conflict? What's my part in this conflict? Where did this conflict start? And, could have started decades ago. So again, we're trying to get a grip and to see where that is, then to gather our resources. what do I need to do? What's my role in this? Both the role that I bring to this, but then the role that I have in bringing it to some sort of resolution. So I want you to work through that this week with your own conflict that you've been talking about. We've been asking every week to talk about a conflict, the conflict, whatever that is that you've chosen within your congregational setting. And this week, I want you now to apply this, use this for working with that addressing conflict tool. Let's see what else. Uh, uh, Dialogue, debate, and discussion. These are different. So we can have dialogue, we can have debate, or we can have discussion. And so then you'll see different properties of each of these. Again, I want you to see what that is. A lot of us, maybe most or all of us, we fit into one of those patterns generally, that we would rather debate, or we would rather have a dialogue, or we would rather have a discussion. So when you look at that, be thinking about where you resonate the most. And then finally is how to diffuse an argument. Again, this tool for how to take what's up here and bring it down there. It's really difficult, really very difficult to do that, because we get caught into it. And now all of a sudden we're one of the arguers rather than being a person who steps in, being a leader who steps in to try to diffuse the situation. I have found myself in those situations, of course, and have found it embarrassing when someone else steps in to diffuse the argument, because I'm so in tuned and intense and enmeshed in it. I know it's enmeshed into it, that I have no way of diffusing it. So again, I want you to look at that and to wrestle with that. We've got forum questions that are going to help you explore that. I hope that you're having a really good start to your week, that you are doing well. And as always, I'm going to look forward to seeing you on the forums. Thanks for the ways that you challenge me, and you are helping me be a better leader. Thanks. Bye-bye.